The stars had never looked more beautiful than they did from the bridge of the Crimson Dawn. Captain Dante Rivera stood at the viewport, his dark eyes reflecting the cosmic dance of distant suns. At 32, he had already earned his reputation as one of humanity's most skilled explorers, leading missions into the unknown reaches of space where few dared to venture. "Captain, we're receiving in transmission," announced Lieutenant Jade Knox from her station. Her fingers danced across the holographic controls with practiced ease. "It's not like anything in our databases." Dante turned from the viewport, his commanding presence filling the bridge. The crew of the Crimson Dawn had been together for 3 years, exploring the Outer Rim territories in search of new worlds and resources for Earth's growing colonies. They had encountered strange phenomena before, but nothing that suggested intelligent life. "Put it through, Lieutenant," Dante ordered, settling into his captain's chair. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a vessel unlike anything they had ever seen. It was elegant and flowing, resembling a crystalline flower frozen in space. Soft blue light pulsed along its hull in rhythmic patterns that seemed almost alive. The transmission crackled with static before clearing to reveal the most breathtaking being Dante had ever seen. The alien woman had luminescent blue skin that seemed to glow from within, and her eyes were like twin galaxies, spinning with silver and gold flecks. Her hair flowed like liquid starlight, defying gravity as it moved around her graceful features. "Greetings, travelers from the world of solid ground," she spoke, her voice carrying musical undertones that made Dante's heart skip. "I am Celestine Vex, diplomatic envoy of the Ethereal Consortium. We have been watching your kind's expansion into our territory." Dante found himself momentarily speechless, captivated by her otherworldly beauty. He had never believed in love at first sight, but something about this alien woman stirred feelings he thought were reserved for his own species. I am Captain Dante Rivera of the Earth vessel Crimson Dawn," he managed to reply, his voice steadier than he felt. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship among the stars." Celestine's expression softened, and something that might have been curiosity flickered in her cosmic eyes. "Your species intrigues us, Captain Rivera. We have observed your kind's remarkable ability to adapt and overcome challenges. Perhaps we might arrange a meeting to discuss mutual interests." The bridge crew exchanged glances. First contact protocols demanded caution, but Dante felt an inexplicable pull toward this mysterious woman. "We would be honored to meet with you, Envoy Vex. Shall we arrange neutral ground?" "My vessel has diplomatic quarters suitable for both our species," Celestine offered. "If you would trust me with your safety, Captain, I believe we could have a most enlightening conversation." Dr. Raven Cross, the ship's xenobiologist, stepped forward. "Captain, this could be the breakthrough we've been hoping for. First contact with a peaceful alien civilization could change everything for humanity." Dante nodded slowly. "Very well, Envoy Vex. I'll bring a small diplomatic team aboard your vessel." An hour later, Dante found himself walking through corridors that seemed to be made of living crystal, pulsing with soft light that responded to his presence. Beside him walked Lieutenant Knox and Dr. Cross, both trying to maintain professional composure while marveling at the alien architecture. Celestine met them in a grand chamber that looked like the inside of a geode, with walls that sparkled and shifted colors based on the emotional state of those within. She had changed into what appeared to be ceremonial robes that flowed around her like liquid silk, accentuating her graceful movements. "Welcome aboard the Stellar Harmony," she said, her voice echoing musically in the crystal chamber. "Please, make yourselves comfortable. Our hospitality traditions require that we share sustenance before conducting business." As they settled around a table that seemed to grow from the floor itself, Dante couldn't help but notice how Celestine's eyes lingered on him. The attraction seemed mutual, crossing the boundaries of species with an intensity that surprised them both. "Tell me about your world, Captain," she said, her fingers gracefully manipulating controls that caused various dishes to materialize before them. "We have observed your kind from afar, but we wish to understand what drives you to reach for the stars." Dante found himself opening up in ways he rarely did with his own crew. He spoke of Earth's blue oceans and green forests, of humanity's dreams and struggles, of their desire to find their place among the cosmos. As he talked, he noticed Celestine leaning closer, her eyes never leaving his face. "Your passion is intoxicating," she said softly, her cheeks taking on a deeper blue hue that Dante instinctively recognized as a blush. "We ethereals have long lives, but often lack the fire that seems to burn within your species." "And what of your people?" Dante asked, reaching across the table to gently touch her hand. The contact sent electricity through both of them, and he saw her eyes widen with surprise and something deeper. "We are beings of thought and energy," she explained, not pulling her hand away. "We exist in harmony with the cosmos, but perhaps we have forgotten what it means to truly feel. Your touch, it awakened something within me that I thought was merely legend." Dr. Cross and Lieutenant Knox exchanged meaningful glances, recognizing the charged atmosphere between their captain and the alien diplomat. This was far beyond standard first contact protocols, but neither could deny the genuine connection forming before their eyes. "In our culture," Celestine continued, her voice growing more intimate, "we have stories of bonds that transcend physical form, connections that can bridge any distance or difference. I never believed such things were possible until... "Now?" Dante finished, his thumb tracing gentle circles on her luminous skin. Their eyes met and held, the space between them crackling with unspoken desire. The crystal walls around them began to pulse with warmer hues, responding to their emotional connection. "Captain Rivera," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I believe our peoples have much to learn from each other, perhaps starting with the language of the heart?" Before Dante could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the alien vessel. The crystal walls flashed angry red as Celestine's eyes widened in alarm. "The Void Seekers," she gasped, rising quickly from her seat. "They have found us. Captain, your ship is in danger. They are a militant faction that opposes any contact with other species." Through the transparent walls of the chamber, they could see dark, angular ships emerging from hyperspace, their weapons already charging for attack. The moment of intimate connection was shattered by the reality of impending battle. "Get us back to our ship," Dante commanded, his hand still holding Celestine's. "This isn't over between us." She squeezed his hand tightly, her eyes filled with fear and determination. "No, Captain, it is only beginning." As they rushed toward the docking bay where the shuttle waited, explosions rocked both vessels. The enemy had arrived at the worst possible moment, but Dante couldn't help feeling that this interruption might actually forge the bond between him and Celestine even stronger. The real test of their connection was about to begin. The shuttle bay of the Stellar Harmony shook violently as enemy fire pounded the crystalline hull. Dante gripped Celestine's hand tighter as they ran toward his shuttle, the sound of their footsteps echoing through corridors that now pulsed with emergency lighting. "The Void Seekers believe that contact between species will weaken us," Celestine explained breathlessly as they reached the docking platform. "They seek to destroy any hope of alliance or understanding." "Then they've never met humans before," Dante replied grimly, helping her into the shuttle. "We don't back down from bullies, no matter how big they are." As the shuttle launched toward the Crimson Dawn, Dante could see the enemy fleet in full formation. 12 dark vessels shaped like thorned crescents surrounded both ships, their weapons creating deadly light shows against the star field. The Void Seekers' ships were built for destruction, all sharp angles and aggressive lines that spoke of their militant philosophy. "Captain on the bridge," Lieutenant Knox announced as Dante and Celestine arrived. The human crew stared in wonder at the alien diplomat, but quickly returned to their duties as the ship rocked under enemy fire. "Status report," Dante ordered, taking his command chair while Celestine stood beside him, her presence both calming and electrifying. 12 enemy vessels, Captain," Knox reported. "They're demanding we surrender Celestine and withdraw from this sector immediately. Our shields are holding, but barely." Dr. Cross looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from the ethereal ship. I think they're preparing some kind of defensive measure." Celestine closed her eyes, her skin beginning to glow brighter. "My people are pacifists by nature, but we are not defenseless. The Stellar Harmony carries harmony weapons designed to disable rather than destroy." "That's not going to be enough," Dante said, studying the tactical display. These Void Seekers came here to kill, not to negotiate. Suddenly Celestine's eyes snapped open, now blazing with inner fire. Then perhaps it is time my people learned something from humanity's warrior spirit. Captain, if you are willing to trust me, I can show you how our ships might work together. Dante didn't hesitate. What do you need? A direct neural link between our vessel's navigation systems. It will require physical contact between us to maintain the connection. Her cheeks deepened to that beautiful blue blush again. The bond we began to form earlier, it could be the key to our survival. Without hesitation, Dante stood and took her hands in his. The moment their skin touched, he felt a rush of sensation unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was as if his consciousness expanded beyond his body, touching something vast and wonderful. I can feel your ship, Celestine whispered, her eyes wide with amazement. Your crew's determination, their loyalty to you, it's incredible. Through their connection, Dante could sense the stellar harmony as well. The ship wasn't just a vessel, it was almost alive, responding to the emotions and will of its crew. Show me how to coordinate our attacks, he said. The battle that followed was unlike anything in recorded history. The two ships moved as one, the Crimson Dawn's aggressive human tactics perfectly complemented by the stellar harmony's graceful evasion patterns. Where human weapons struck with devastating precision, ethereal harmony beams followed to disable enemy systems without destroying them completely. They're falling back, Knox reported, amazement clear in her voice. Captain, we're actually winning. But the connection between Dante and Celestine was growing stronger with each passing moment. Through their joined consciousness, he could feel her emotions, her desires, her growing love for him despite the differences between their species. Dante, she whispered, using his first name for the first time. What I'm feeling is this, what humans call love. Among other things, he replied, his voice husky with emotion. Around them, the bridge crew worked with professional efficiency, but he could see the glances they exchanged. This was beyond anything in their training manuals. The last of the Void Seeker ships retreated into hyperspace, their militant leader, broadcasting a final threat about future encounters. But Dante barely heard it. All his attention was focused on the extraordinary woman beside him, and the connection that seemed to grow stronger with each heartbeat. Captain, Dr. Cross said softly, I'm reading some unusual energy signatures from both ships. The neural link seems to have created permanent changes in both vessel systems. Celestine smiled, her entire being radiant with joy. The bond between us has awakened something new. Our ships now carry a piece of each other just as we do. The victory celebration can wait, Dante said, his eyes never leaving Celestine's face. I think we need to discuss the implications of what just happened. He led her to his private quarters, the rest of the crew understanding that their captain needed time to process this unprecedented situation. The moment the doors closed behind them, the carefully maintained professional distance evaporated. I never believed in destiny, Dante said, reaching up to touch her luminous cheek. But meeting you feels like something the universe planned long before either of us was born. In ethereal culture, we speak of soul bonds that transcend physical form, Celestine replied, leaning into his touch. When two beings recognize each other across the void of space and difference, nothing can keep them apart. Their lips met, in a kiss that seemed to ignite the very air around them. Her skin grew brighter, pulsing with inner light that matched the rhythm of their hearts. Dante felt as if he was drowning in starlight, every nerve in his body alive with sensation. Is this what you wanted when you invited me aboard your ship? He asked, his lips trailing down her elegant neck. I wanted to know what it felt like to truly live, she whispered, her hands exploring the strong lines of his shoulders. Your species burns so brightly, Dante. Teach me to burn with you. Their lovemaking was unlike anything either had experienced before. Where human passion met ethereal grace, something entirely new was created. Her skin responded to his touch, with waves of bioluminescence, while his body seemed to pulse with energy drawn from her otherworldly nature. Hours later they lay entwined in his cabin, the viewport showing the two ships floating peacefully side by side against the star field. Other crew members from both vessels had begun cautious exchanges, following the example set by their leaders. "What happens now?" Dante asked, stroking her hair that still moved like liquid light. "Now we change the galaxy," Celestine replied, confidently. "The bond between us proves that love can bridge any gap, overcome any difference. The ethereal consortium will want to study what we've achieved, and your Earth government will be fascinated by our technology. And us? We explore the universe together," she said, her eyes bright with dreams of the future. "Your human drive for adventure combined with ethereal wisdom could take us to places neither of our species has ever imagined." Through the viewport, they could see Lieutenant Knox and Dr. Cross in animated conversation with several ethereal crew members. The universal language of curiosity and friendship was already at work, building bridges between two very different civilizations. "I love you, Celestine Vex," Dante said, the words feeling both strange and perfectly natural. "And I love you, Dante Rivera," she replied, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate in his very soul. Across the void of space, beyond the barriers of species, love finds a way. As the two ships prepared to return to their respective homeworlds, with news of their historic alliance, Dante knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity's greatest adventure wasn't exploring the stars. It was learning to love beyond the boundaries of what they thought possible. The universe had just become a much more interesting place, and it all started with two hearts beating as one across the infinite cosmos.